Welcome to the Deeply Disgusted Show. And today we're on day 3 of the Alicia Andrews case. And it's getting real. Evidence are coming in that she's young, so she don't know. She's looking like, wow, they're doing all of this just to lock me up for life? Yes, this is how it works. You're a grown woman. You're in real life. The decisions that you make is what's gonna guide you from now on. But we're gonna see what's going on day 5 with the Alicia trial, and it's getting crazy. Let's go.
I want to start first with whether you received a return from Apple iCloud in this case.
Yes.
Did you receive more than one?
Yes.
Would the first return that you received for analysis from Apple iCloud be alicia.andrews03@yahoo.com, or one of them?
Yes, that sounds familiar.
And did you also receive a return for rockoutsean with 2 N's at iCloud.com?
Yes.
Do you select which software you're going to use if you receive these types of returns?
I have a software that I typically use. Again, these softwares, they're being written constantly with the updates. So it kind of goes on whatever at that moment is the best tool at the time for what I use. But I will often ask the detective what they would prefer to have it in because they have to review it. And whatever they're most comfortable using as well might depend on which tool I decide to use.
When a report is actually extracted, so say you find a photo or a message that you'd like.
Yes.
When that's extracted, does that extracted report look different if you're using Axiom versus you're using Cellebrite?
Yes.
And is that just a visual difference?
Yes.
Is there, in your experience, has there been a significant difference in the data itself?
The raw data, no, but again, each tool is written by 2 different companies, so what data might be parsed out by one company might be different than another in terms.
Okay, so basically what he's talking about is these companies, say like Google and Meta, they both have 2 companies that could get into your device, get into your iPhone. These courts, these police stations all over the world, all over the US, they pay thousands, hundreds and thousands, probably into the millions, just to get this access. So these companies are competing, and what he's saying, these companies are getting better and better. The software is changing. So basically, the software is changing in a better way. Technology is getting better to catch criminals better online. The drilly rappers are like drilling and go online and snitching. They creating algorithms to catch you. They're creating systems to get into your phone and to get into certain platforms and the crevices in your phone to catch you. And that's basically what he's saying. So every year he has to update himself, and he has to use a software that everybody else is familiar with.
In terms of, I'll try to keep it simple, where TikTok is somewhat newer. So let's say one tool has written code to parse TikTok where another one has not. It doesn't mean that the raw data isn't there in the extraction. It just means one tool was written to parse it where the other one hasn't.
In this case, since we'll just limit those readers to what was utilized in this case, so that would still be Axiom and Cellebrite, is that right?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to review Cellebrite reports from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department for a device that was obtained in a search warrant there?
Yes.
And would that have been from red with 3 Ds 03@icloud.com?
Yes.
Additionally, did you have an opportunity to review the Cellebrite report for rockoutsean at icloud.com, the same one that you had an Axiom extraction from iCloud for?
It wasn't an extraction, a return from Apple, but yes.
So you've had an opportunity at least to review those 3 separate things?
Yes.
And the contents therein?
Yes.
I want to start first.
I said in the last video, this lawyer right here, Light Bright, yeah, she has the red gene. If y'all don't know what the red gene is a very powerful gene. The gene, literally, if you have somebody that has the red gene, like in your family from years and years ago, you could still see it in a person today. Freckles, little slight, red tint to the eyebrows. It's an amazing gene, and they finally discovered the gene actually came from Africa. But that's not what this show is about. This show today is about Alicia Andrews, and we're gonna see when she's gonna get life because it's taking too long. I got about 5 more shows about her, and that's it. But this lawyer right here, she's very good. She's very good. She speaks very loud, clear, and her voice is very strong. This is very important for the jury. Because on the other side, on the defendant side, the lawyer, he has a weak voice. He has a weak voice. When he comes on, I'm gonna point it out, but his voice is not strong. It doesn't resonate. It don't sound like it's commanding.
First, with the Apple ID red03 at iCloud.com. Are you familiar from which that came? Where that came from, excuse me.
I believe that was from the Jacksonville Celebrate report.
Permission of Book trial? Yes. I'm going to show you what's been marked states 76, A through B.
Yes.
I'm also going to show you states 75.
Ooh, they said state 75. God damn, it's probably them numbers for her probably go into the thousand. Like the evidence, the numbers, like they got 75A, 75B, 75D, 70. You got to think about the evidence the state gathers just to lock you up. Remember, this is big money. This is big. This is war. This is the Walmart of courts.
Okay.
So sad to see these young girls, especially when they got a little beauty to them. It's sad to really see them. They life just get destroyed just following a man. Like they destroyed a life following a man. That high school love it's a point in your life that even being a teenager is just one of those times in your life you just have to make it through. Once you make it through, trust me, everything else is sky's the limit.
Then 76, at least A through B, contain the device information that was from the Celebrite report, as well as some of the contents from that device for which you reviewed.
Yes.
At this time, state seeks to admit states 76, A through B, 1 through 4, and 8.
Any objection other than the previously made objections?
No further objection.
Same ruling, admitted.
Now, I've asked you about whether this Celebrite extraction had some kind of related ID, and showing you states 76A. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so these are mostly identifiers or information about the device itself. So you can see the model number towards the top. But that's not a model number that you typically see. So the model number, I don't want to say typically see, but that's something that's more forensically or a model that's given to by Apple as far as build number to the software. The typical model you'll see is the detective phone model, which was a iPhone 14. And then the iOS version, which is 17.5.1. The MSI SDN is the phone number that's associated with that device. And then you'll see the IMEI a little bit further.
Yo, y'all don't see how they study this? There are people studying to lock you up. They study this. Y'all think it's a game? They're studying textbooks and taking tests and exams to get certified, get paid more money. This is their life. This is their career. And you want to do crime? Crazy.
Further up there that starts with 350. That's what most people would commonly refer to as the serial number to the device. It's specific to that device.
Okay, so if we break that down just a little bit slower, you mentioned that there is a phone number that's associated. Is that what we're seeing here with this last use, MSISDN?
Yes.
And then the Apple ID that we referred to as it related to this particular Cellbrite report was red with 3 Ds, 03 at iCloud.
Correct.
Excuse me, I'm not sure if I'm there. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
All right. And are we talking about the information that's included right here?
Yes.
Now, are these device reports able to be downloaded typically from your standard Cellbrite extraction? So are you able to get this kind of summary with a report with this information about the device, the phone number, the Apple ID, typically when you use Cellbrite?
When you use either Cellbrite or Gray Key and you do an extraction, when you parse that extraction out in the Cellbrite tool, this is what's generated by Cellbrite.
And is this something that you can look to determine identifying information for whatever the extraction is you're looking at?
So there's another system that we really don't hear much of called grayscale. We always hear about Cellbrite, but we never hear about grayscale. You see how these companies are producing items for police? Just so they could get into your phone when you commit a crime. They're competing. Don't get in the competition. Stay crime free.
Yes.
Does that also include specific account identifiers? So, for example, if there is an Instagram account that's documented on the phone or a TikTok account, is that information that can be included on these device reports?
Yes.
And do we see an example of that here with the Instagram at 14, line 14?
Yes. Cellbrite has identified an account associated with Instagram and then the usernames.
At the top of these columns that are provided in the device report, are there several different categories of information that have been created by the Cellbrite software?
Yes.
And does that include creation time as well?
Yes.
Are you able to tell me anything about that creation time?
Not specifically that one, no.
Okay. What about UTC in the creation time itself?
Yes, so UTC refers to Coordinated Universal Time. So to put it in the easiest explanation is that all of the times, as far as we're concerned, is generally around Greenwich, England. So just say England as a specific place. So we're currently in Eastern Standard Time. So depending on daylight savings time, we're either -4 or -5 hours from England. So if it was midnight, it would be 4 hours behind, and then pretty soon we'll be in fall, so we fall back another hour, and it would be 5 hours back. So forensically, we often leave stuff in UTC time when you look at it, because it makes it easier when people are communicating all over the world, and you want to make it relative to where we're currently at in Eastern Standard Time. It just makes it easier when you're doing things on a time log.
And that
With that information right there, I already would have been guilty. I already would have been guilty because I'm like, huh? What? How did it catch me? What time did I use my iPhone? What happened now?
Is what you prefer in forensics when you all look at the information.
It makes it easier because if someone in, let's say, California was talking to someone in Florida and you're using two different time zones while trying to tell a story, it makes it very difficult. So we try to leave it all in one time zone.
What about for the detectives that you work with day to day? Does it make it easier for them to do the calculations when you actually provide these reports to them, or do they contact you often to have assistance?
There are ways to, in the report, to convert it to make it easier for them, but often you'll see, like you see right here, it's UTC plus 0, meaning that there is no, the time isn't altered at all. It is in UTC time, so it being June, to be in Eastern Standard Time, you would have to minus 4 hours from the time you see.
Now, I'll show you some examples of that modification here in a bit, but there is ultimately a way for the device for you to update the time zone to the current time zone or the time zone that the device is in.
So the time zone that the device is in, I would say the time zone where you're at would be more correct, because the problem with time the device is in, the device doesn't store in what we refer to in forensics as local time. So if the device is in Florida today, but California tomorrow, it doesn't store it in those two time zones. It stores it in UTC or whatever time it is, but it comes back to a UTC time. And then based on where your phone's time zone is set, which often is automatically set, but you can go in and manually set it as well, it will minus 4 or 5 if you're in Eastern time zone, and that's what you see on your device. But it's not stored in your local time zone.
But you are
Ladies and gentlemen, I finally got a headache.
able, there is a mechanism to view the information that is pulled or view the report with the modification to from UTC to Eastern Standard Time.
Correct. This tool, Celebrite, is used worldwide. So depending on what time zone you are in, you can choose to set it at minus 4 for Eastern Standard Time or minus 8 for Pacific Time. So you can go in there and go, hey, I want to view it in the time zone for the state I'm currently in, and it'll alter those times accordingly.
There's been no request of you or no evidence to suggest or support that there were any devices provided to you where there needed to be a calculation for. What is it that we're looking at here? What type of report?
This is also a Celebrite report, and it shows a conversation or at least some messages that were sent and received.
What is it that you can tell me about the timestamps, if any, on these messages that are depicted on the screen from June 21st of 2024 at 10:56 p.m.?
Same thing I mentioned before. They're in UTC, so they're going to be 4 hours different than what would be Eastern Standard Time from where we're currently at. So being 10:56 p.m., it would, I believe, be 6:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
When you actually look to the message itself, are you able to determine who the sender is, or are there any markings or indications on the messages which would indicate who the sender is versus who is receiving the messages?
Yes, oftentimes will say to and from. In these scenarios, this isn't text messages. I believe these are actually just messages by.
I can go back to the first page related to Miss Adore.
Yeah, so I was looking at the numbers at the top, which are often the account numbers associated with either Instagram or Facebook. And it looks like, so as I was saying, that all of the files that come in from Apple, they're in a bunch of smaller zip files. So underneath where it says source extraction, that is the actual zip file that these messages are coming through or being pulled from by Celebrite. And you'll see towards the very bottom, it'll say group.com.bourbon, B-U-R-B-N, and then Instagram plist. So these messages are actually being pulled from that file, which is a plist file, which is associated with Instagram. So looking at that, I know that those are Instagram account numbers, and then those are the display names. So Miss Adore would be the display name of that Instagram account that sent that message to.
You see, when we look at these numbers and we're just like, huh? Huh? But in actuality, these numbers are actually studied by people. These numbers actually mean something. Like every single number, depending on how many digits. If it's a 4 digit, it's Instagram. If it's TikTok, it's 7 digits. And you know what I mean? It's wow. This is coding at its best. This is coding at its best.
Whoever the other person is.
And then in that device information that we were looking at from 76A, are you also able in the account name column to confirm what you were looking at there from that source information as well? The same name at least depicted there.
Yes.
And these, again, messages were in UTC time, at least as extracted here.
Yes.
In States 76B2, is there also a category for something called transfers that you can extract the Cellbrite report for?
Yes.
And what is it? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yes.
Still, the data that comes in allows for some categories. Are these categories that are provided by the program or something that you would input or add?
No, these are all, like I mentioned earlier, that Cellbrite, the company, has parsed out whichever file contains this information, and they choose which category to display them in.
Now, in this particular case, there's a source column, but it doesn't look like that long source code that we were looking at from the last exhibit. Is that different?
It's just showing that it came from Cash App. It did come from a longer source file or file path. It's just not displayed here.
And what are you familiar with Cash App?
Yes.
Is that a money? In States 76B, are you able to see that?
Yes.
When we're looking at the file info from 76B, are you able to tell me anything as it relates to the name of the file?
Yes, the file name is img_001.heic.
And does the HEIC, is that indicative of anything for you?
I don't know what it stands for, but I know that HEIC is commonly a file extension for a picture file associated with Apple devices.
So for like a document, you would have .pdf or .doc or something. Is it, for just a layperson when we're looking at it, you recognize HEIC as .hcic being consistent with a photograph or
Yes.
pictorial evidence? When we see the thumbnail associated here, are you able, when viewing the information, to actually look at that image in a larger capacity?
Yes.
Does that mean that this thumbnail here that it's given to you, does that mean that that was the original size of the item or anything like that?
No, the original size says the bytes right there. It tells you how big the file is. That's just simply, like you said, it's a thumbnail image. It's a small image, just like when you go through your photos if you have an iPhone or an Android, you don't look at one photo at a time. You can probably look at 30 to 40 photos. All of those photos are also saved in those smaller sizes so you can quickly view them, and those are called thumbnail images. But the actual image itself is much larger typically.
I gotta wonder sometimes what this girl always looking down and reading and writing. Like when all this is done and she's found guilty and they sentence her to life in Florida prison, they need to show us what the hell she was writing. Because I think whatever she's writing, I think that's a show within a show, if you ask me.
Can you see that all right?
Yes.
From that file itself, was this image consistent with the thumbnail attached to that extraction?
Yes.
And you can't tell me about the circumstances from which this photograph was taken.
No.
Can you simply tell me that this is a photograph that was on the device
Yes.
and was depicted in the extraction report?
Yes.
Do you have information about at least the created modified access dates here as it relates to this particular thumbnail?
I'm not sure if that.
Image that's being depicted here from page 4, different in some way than you would see for a traditional image, like if it was a photograph.
This image that we see here isn't actually an image. It's a video file, but the Axiom tool. So in my investigation.
Okay. If y'all see, that's a video of Alicia in the car while they're going to drive to do the hit on the rapper Julio Fulio. Look at the date. It says 6/22/2004. It's 2:26 p.m. and she made a video of them driving to go do the hit.
We go through hundreds, thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of videos. So instead of having to watch each individual video as you go through the tool, Axiom will display what's a preview of the video by giving you 8 frames from the video to give you a general idea what might be in that video. So you don't have to necessarily watch every single video just to find out what's in it. It'll give you a preview, which is what Axiom has done here, and then you could go watch the video itself. So in this case, we're looking at a preview that was generated by Axiom of the actual video file.
Are you able to actually see the full video or even grab some of the frames from the video when you're pulling an extraction report?
Yes.
And is that what's indicated here from that same video?
Correct.
Just a screenshot, basically, if we're using layman's terms.
Yes, and I think even when you go back to the still frames where there was the 8 different frames from that video, you can see that it's very similar.
Are you able to tell me anything about the date and time that this video was preserved from the data or file information here?
It just shows the last modified and then more importantly the EXIF created, and how we mentioned earlier that EXIF data is more data about the file itself versus a lot of times when you see created, access, and modified, that refers to that file being in a specific place at that date and time. So if you put a folder on your computer and you make a copy of that folder and put it somewhere else on your computer, those created date and times will be different because it's whenever you copied and pasted it. But the EXIF is specific to when that video file itself was created. So typically, forensically, that's the one we try to focus on if it's available, and in this instance it is, which is 6/22/24 at 5:26 p.m.
And are you able to say that that is also Eastern Standard Time based on the UTC information also provided?
Yes.
Publishing 75C5 from the same iPod return. Is this an actual either screenshot or an image on the device different from what we've just seen reflected as a video?
Yes.
Is there a time reflected in the screenshot itself?
Yes, 2:58.
And is there data associated with the screenshot itself?
Yes.
On this particular screenshot, this one has a PNG label. How is that different from what we saw before?
PNG is often associated with screenshots when it comes to Apple devices. So if you do a screenshot on an Apple device, it'll save it as a PNG versus the HEIC file.
The EXIF data for this one is depicted down here. Is that the same EXIF data for date and time that we would be looking at?
Yes.
And are you able to tell me what the EXIF data tells us about this particular screenshot?
It shows the original date and time to be 6:23 at 2:58 p.m. Or I'm sorry, yeah, p.m.
PM?
I'm sorry, no. So 2:58. I was looking at the top. So 2:58. There is no p.m. or a.m. associated with it.
In 75C6, are you able to see that? Record 1 of 75C6.
Yes.
All right. And do you know, or can you tell me what this is?
It's a picture, but I don't know who it is or where it came from.
Are you familiar with the photo application in an iPhone or Samsung device?
Yes.
And do you have the options, which we could see at the bottom right here, of taking a photo or selecting a photo option?
I believe that's just the selfie cam. I'm not sure if that's taking a photo or selecting a photo.
To flip the camera on
Yeah.
the photo app.
Yes.
I don't know if y'all see what's going on here. But what's going on here is the prosecutor, what she just did is show an image of a GPS location of the suspect's phone, Alicia, or one of the suspects. She's showing that they are basically like surveilling the area. Then on the second picture, if y'all notice, there's a picture of where Fulio was doing the live stream. That's the hotel when he was going up the steps. The picture that went viral when he first passed away, when they first shot him. They took a picture. They stood outside and they took a picture and they got a stamp and a date and a time that they was there and they was at that location. Even though that wasn't the location he passed away at. That's not the location they did the hit at. But the next location they did the hit. So it's proving that they're tracking him. They're stalking him. That's not a vacation. You know?
But is this, so if I clicked on or took my phone and clicked on the little camera that's on the home screen, I can open that to access the camera?
Yes.
And is that what we're looking at here, a camera access from one of these devices, or a device of some kind?
It appears to be consistent with taking a photo with a device, but I'm not sure what application it's being used from.
While you are utilizing your phone's camera, whether it's front-facing or rear-facing, are you still able to take a screenshot?
Yes.
What information, if any, did this particular item provide to us regarding the date of the original?
The original date showing 6:23 at 4:10.
I'm sorry, was that PM or AM or do you know?
It doesn't show an AM or PM.
Are you able to tell us about the ability to have military time or standard time? Tell us the difference between those two things.
You can select military or standard on your phone, how it's displayed. And basically that being a military time is from 0000 all the way up to 2400 or 2359. So basically there is no AM or PM with military time.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes?
Now they want to approach lot of evidence. It's a lot of evidence. They can't handle the truth. The girl stalked them, and the girl was in with the planning with the fellas.
Are you able to tell us anything about this return from iCloud as it relates to information from Instagram?
Just that, is this from, we're still talking about the iCloud return?
Yes, the same return from alicia.andrews03@yahoo.com.
Yeah, so again, Axiom being the tool that we used in this one, it identified different, let's see where it came from, different accounts associated with, it looks like, Instagram.
Does Axiom allow for information regarding followers and following when it gives you a return from Instagram or information from Instagram?
I cannot tell if these are follows or following, but it's obviously information that's backed up to Apple.
When you make a full download as it relates to the Instagram profiles, followers or following, are you able to review the file path and the file information to assess whether there's following, followers, followed by? Those categories that Axiom gives you.
Yeah, so in this scenario, yes, you can see what Axiom has parsed out, and it shows that the account associated with that Apple account, that cloud account, there are artifacts associated with Instagram showing that that account is following that username at the top. And you can see where it says following, yes. But they're not being followed back by that same account.
So following, yes.
Yes.
The username account, Young and Ace.
Yes.
Followed by, no.
Correct.
There are 3 of these records. Is the difference between having record 1, record 2, and record 3, which indicate the same, each of the iCloud returns that we saw in the beginning here when we were looking at the backup evidence?
I'm not
looked
sure.
at the first page. Let me go back.
I'm not sure what the differences between the 3 records are. That would be Axiom part.
So basically, what the prosecutor is basically saying is the girl was enthused by it all. She's following Young and Ace not following her. She's following Young and Ace, which we all do. He's a celebrity. Young and Ace not following her. She's into the music. She's trying to show the jury that the girl, this is the culture she's into. You know, it's not a mistake that she was with these gang members. This is her life.
It would be more from the source, and I can see that the source looks, there's a lot of numbers in there to tell you exactly the same, but it looks like the source might be a little bit different, and that's why you have 3 records.
Okay, and then when you see the evidence number or information, is that referring to the file that is provided from iCloud?
Yes. But in there are multiple different folders, and you see that where it says source here, being the original one, and then there's that number, the 1295723, and then there's folder and subfolder and subfolder. So every line that you see is another folder within that folder. So every slash mark.
In 75C8, do we have the same type of following report or information that was pulled from Axiom? Page 4 of that exhibit for username Julio Fulio.
Correct.
And do we still have or also have those columns regarding following and is followed by?
Yes.
As it relates to this particular account, what was the account? Was the account following?
The device account was following the Julio Fulio, but Julio Fulio's account was not following back the user's device or user's account.
their argument at the beginning was she doesn't know Julio Folio. She never heard of Julio Folio. She have no idea. She don't even know what Julio Folio look like. And there you see that she's following Julio Folio on her social media. And he's not following her. So this is what she's into. She's into this. It's her thing.
Are you also able to, as we could see from the device report and the Cellbrite data, or the reports that we had, are you also able to select photographs that you can pull reports for?
Yes.
In looking at this photograph that's depicted in 75C9, was there information associated with that photo which would allow you to be able to tell when the photo was captured?
Yes.
And what information is that, and can you relay that for us?
So, again, forensically, we often focus on the EXIF data, which is data about the data itself, not necessarily when that photo was placed on that device or that cloud. But here you can see that when the photo was taken, it captured a lot of information, lat and long being exactly where GPS put that photograph being taken, what model phone took it, and it looks like even it tells you which camera it would have taken it with, being the dual wide camera, which is typically seen on the back of a device, versus the selfie camera or the front facing camera that would face you.
And can this data, because it's been an iCloud backup, be something that came from a different device? When we saw Cellbrite, we saw a model number and an iPhone and those types of things. Can this be a different device just stored to the cloud?
It could simply be someone sent you the picture and it's stored on your device, but it just got backed up to the cloud even though another photo or another phone took the photo.
Can it be your device having taken the photo?
If you have multiple devices with the same account, cloud account, yes, it could all be backed up. But it could also be a photo taken with someone else's phone and then you've stored it or saved it on your device and it kept all that same EXIF information and also got backed up because now it's on your device that is being backed up.
If I have my same iCloud account from high school up till now,
Yeah.
will every phone that I've used and backed up to that same iCloud account still be reflected? Those photos from older phones are still in my iCloud.
It's possible. That's a better question for Apple, how long that they store stuff for.
But you can have different devices that back up to the cloud.
Yes.
Is this a larger version of that photograph that was depicted in the last exhibit?
Yes.
Same exhibit, was there an image captured April 15th of 2023?
Yes.
And is that what's depicted here?
Yes.
In 75C10, can you tell us what it is that this is representative of?
These look like text messages between two devices.
So these look different than what we looked at from Cellbrite. We don't have the convenience of the blue and the green. How do you know that the messages are going back and forth? Is there something about their placement?
Yeah, so Axiom will place them typically right and left to try to make it look more like what you would see on the device. Sometimes there's colors that make it a little bit easier to see, which I don't see here. But you can also see received at the top where those ones are being received by that cloud account information, and it says unknown direction. So probably didn't parse or it wasn't provided in the plist files or databases that were given.
But there is a number associated with the received by.
Jasmine Glennon.
Does Jasmine Glennon have a relationship with any of the co-defendants in this case?
Yes, she shares a child in common with Shaheem Murphy, the brother of co-defendant Rashad Murphy.
Also cousins to Davion Murphy?
Correct.
It's a lot of damn Murphys, right? It's a whole bunch of Murphys, huh? Who that? Eddie Murphy? Who you, Rashad or Eddie? God damn it. Which one is funnier? God damn it. Oof. I never heard of a bunch of Murphys in one story.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would introduce into evidence States Exhibit 80, 81, 82, and 46A, B, and C.
Any objection?
These are the ones I showed you. Do you want me to show you again?
Yo, they never have an ejection. And then when they do have an ejection, the judge like, what? No, I deny your ejection. Yo, her defense team never have an objection. It's just a mess, yo. I mean, she don't know no better though, you know? She got her hair all gelled up. She came prepared. She like, I know my lawyers suck. So I'm going to make sure I look good so I could have at least 2 men on the jury like, nah, yo, she could never be guilty of this. She's a good girl. She's an angel.
From Florida, from all three of those companies.
Yes.
I'm going to show you States Exhibit number 80.
This prosecutor means business. She means, you could see it on, I'm not talking about how she eat. We all know she can eat. But I'm talking about her lawyer, her prosecuting skills. She got it.
I want you to kind of go through and explain what is depicted on this investigative summary. So what do we have here, over here in the upper left-hand corner?
That would be a picture of the entire vehicle of the plate that the camera's focused on.
And then the center picture?
That is a picture of the plate that the camera's focused on.
And these two photographs, that's actually the photograph being taken by the license plate reader, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
And then what is this third picture over here to the right of the license plate?
That is a Google Maps sort of satellite image of where that camera is located.
And then can you explain exactly what is also captured, some of the details that the license plate detection captures and records when these photographs are taken?
Yes, so here you would have...
Remember, these killers came from Jackson, Florida, all the way down to Orlando, which I heard is a 4 or 5 hour drive. Do you know how much evidence you're gathering? Just you going over another county. You hop on a highway, especially. Like, the highway's filled with cameras. It's filled with them. You're leaving traces of evidence, and you don't even know it.
The date and time of the capture, and then the organization whose that camera is up for, the case number that was input when we searched, and then the device name, which also has its location 301 CR 225 logging.
And that would be its physical address, is that correct?
Correct.
Does it also give additional information with regards to the device location?
Yes, the Latin longitude there, where your finger's at.
Okay. And then the nearest address that would be a physical mailing address, is that correct?
Correct.
And all of this corresponds to the mapping that is done, is that correct?
Yes.
And so you got license plate readers hits within Hillsborough County that occurred on June 22nd of 2024 for this black Chevy Impala. Is that correct?
Correct. Paula has arrived into the parking lot, made an immediate right, and drove north past this camera. Like black Chevy Impala has arrived into the parking lot, made an immediate right, and drove north past this camera. Right there. So at this point, we're seeing the victim's 3-car convoy arrive at the top of the center of the screen there, and they're in the left lane, getting ready to make a U-turn to go back south on McKinley. There's the victim's Charger leading the 3 cars, and then the other 2 cars, which are the Amani Turner's Hyundai Santa Fe and Taylor McRae's Nissan Altima. And then now they're making a right into the Homes to Suites parking lot. This vehicle off to the right, off to the left, I'm sorry, at the top center there is the Silver Cruise that was following them. It makes a right on to eastbound Fowler and then ultimately comes back and goes north onto the USF property to stage across the street.
Just when you think there's no cameras, just when you finally think you're driving, you're like, all right, good, there's no cameras, let's do a U-turn. There's a camera all the way down the street at Mrs. Henry's house. Right by Mrs. Henry's house. Look, right there. Right there. And police caught the whole thing. This case, I have to say, is a very interesting case. Very interesting because for many years, these girls have been running around setting men up, and enough is enough. Finally, we see one of them on trial, a big trial, a big one. And we need a guilty plea because she's guilty of conspiracy of murder, as far as I see from the evidence. But we'll see. We'll check it out. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But catch me on the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Deeply disgusted.